Thank you very much for being with us in this edition of Tu Comunidad. My name is Adolfo Brusino, and I am the host. And Tu Comunidad is part of the newsletter that we always that we do every quarter in the Human Relations, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department to inform the community about developments that we believe are interesting for them to know. Thank you again for being with us. And we have today a very, very special guest. She's Miss Ennis Riddick Delgado. She is the new Executive Director for Faith Action in Greensboro. Thank you very much for being with us, Miss Ennis.
Thank you, Adolfo. It's my pleasure to be here today.
Wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about we understand that you just started as the Executive Director in of Faith Action, but tell us a little bit about you and, of course, the organization.
Oh, absolutely, Adolfo. So yes, as I shared with you previously, I am the new Executive Director for Faith Action International House. And this is a very big moment in the history of Faith Action because it's the first time that we have a Latino woman, an immigrant, leading the organization. And I'm very, very, very proud of that. I'm from Puerto Rico, Adolfo, and I have been living in Winston for the last 10 to 12 years, just serving the immigrant community, advocating for the Latinx community as well, and lifting our voices. Faith Action International House has been serving immigrants and refugees and working alongside them. Working alongside them for us to help them thrive and be successful when they come to settle in North Carolina.
Wonderful. So if I understand this correctly, you have been previously working in the organization. Tell us about that transition, how it transpired.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So a little bit of context, a history. When I joined the organization as a director of operations, and I joined Faith Action because as a case manager working for Catholic charities in Winston-Salem, my passion has always been, again, fight for the rights of the immigrant community. And we have a program called the Faith Action Community ID program, where we provide a community identification for newcomers and the immigrant community. Although it's not a government ID, it is a wonderful program. And I wanted to join Faith Action because most of my families, as you know, Adolfo, they not having an ID, not having documentation is the biggest obstacle for them to have to have a better life.
Right. Okay, wonderful. So from being a director of operations, you eventually became the director, correct, of Faith Action International. And thank you for mentioning this idea. I believe probably in Winston-Salem is probably the one thing that people will relate Faith Action with. That ID drive and that ID program that you guys have.
I would say so because Faith Action is based in Greensboro. We have a stronger presence here. However, in our relationship that we have right now with Winston-Salem, which is a county that we want to strengthen our services, we have implemented the Faith Action Community ID program through the Hispanic League. They join our ID network. So people who receive their ID through the Hispanic League knows about Faith Action because our logo is in their ID and they're a partner of ours.
I understand that's awesome. Now, how many other programs does Faith Action does? What is a part of providing this excellent service of providing IDs to people who do not have them? What other things that Faith Action do for those people who are unaware of all the range of your programs?
Absolutely, Adolfo. Adolfo, we have many services that I want the Winston-Salem community to know. So they come to us and request services. We have an emergency food pantry. We have an emergency baby pantry where we provide baby items, especially diapers. We provide case management where we support the families and the individuals very holistically. Not only we address and we provide assistance with housing, with finding employment, or finding a way to find employment, because sometimes we have to get creative. We
Mhm.
also provide mental health services. We also have, we provide basic legal consultations. We renew DACA applications, and we also um, provide assistance with applying for DACA for the FaceTime. Right now, we're in the process of expanding a legal department, and we are going to start accepting applications for TPA, U visas, VAWA, many other services that are going to be provided at a very low cost to our families.
That's incredible. That's awesome. Now, for those who are listening to this show and are not very familiar with Fate Action, you have mentioned it is based in Greensboro. Is it a requirement that they have to live in Greensboro or in Guilford County to be able to receive this type of assistance that you provide?
Not at all, sir. We are based in Greensboro because that's where the organization was founded. However, we support anybody in the Piedmont Triad area and all throughout North Carolina. We have families that come to us from, for example, from Ashboro, from Raleigh, from Charlotte, from Boone, and we don't turn anybody away. We are not based on zip codes. We don't have eligibility criteria that they have to live within a certain ratio or miles from us. No, anybody can come to our door and we will welcome them.
Awesome. Um, now, i- i- so I imagine, is it, do you serve a certain specific population or anybody that can, do they have to be immigrants to receive the services from Fate Action?
Yes, our goal is to serve the immigrant refugee community. Yes,
Okay, so only immigrants. Okay,
yes,
um,
sir.
that's great. Now, do they have to pay for those services? The
No,
people?
not at all. We don't charge for any services at all. But I want to also mention we only serve immigrants and refugees. It can also be a family who is an asylee. The so we do
Okay.
serve everybody under that category. And no, the only charges that we might the client might have to pay is a very low fee for the DACA application
Mhm.
and for the community ID, which is $10 when we have the ID drive. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, looking forward, Miss Riddick, what it is that do you have a vision for the organization? Where do you want the organization to be in the next 5 years, let's say?
In the next 5 years, one, I want the organization to be known all throughout North Carolina, that we can see clients coming to us, that the distance or our location is not a barrier. I also want to be able to see, my goal as a vision is also help families to be self-sufficient by empowering them and giving them long skills that will last a long time. We're not wanting to provide a band-aid. We want them to succeed. We want them to learn new skills. And with that, soon we're going to start providing ESL classes. We're going to start providing computer classes. And also we are going to have an international market. When we meet members of the immigrant community, we teach them a skill so they can also start their own business. So that is my vision of the organization for right now, to be very community client oriented and to also let the community know that I am an immigrant and I walk in their shoes and I understand the real issues that we're facing today.
That is wonderful to hear. Now, Ms. Riddick, is there something that you would like to add that probably wasn't discussed, but you believe it is important to communicate?
Oh, absolutely. We recently moved locations. We are now located at 2211 Meadowview Road. So we changed location, but we're still here serving the community. And I want the community to know that we're here. We continue serving. We're here to support them, and we're here to provide them the tools that they need to be successful.
Thank you. One more other question before we go, Ms. Riddick. What languages can they expect to be served on when they
Right
go
now,
to
yes, we
yes.
have in-house, we have Spanish, of course, we have French, Urdu, Hindu, um, yes. And we do have, yes, we have those, but we also have a language line access where we have access to over 200 languages. So the language will never be a barrier.
Shouldn't be a barrier. That is very, very impressive. Thank you very much for your time, Ms. Riddick. This was Ms. Eniris Riddick Delgado. She is the new executive director for Fate Housing International um, house, I believe that's the correct name, in Greensboro, North Carolina. As you have heard, they serve the immigrant population. They are in Greensboro, but they will serve anybody, right? That will live there as long as they're immigrants, correct? That's the only restriction to the services that you provide. And those services are free for anybody that wants to use them. Thank you again for your time, Ms. Riddick. And thank you for being with us in this edition of To Comunidad.